talked a lot in the UK about how Todd Boehly backed him, got these players he wanted, spent all this money, and then like 59 minutes into Aubameyang, who Tuchel wanted and who had his best years under Tuchel, had played 59 minutes, they fired the manager anyway. Right. So
Thomas Tuchel got the sack.
He
got sacked.
See, but I said the sack, which sounds...
Either works.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like they handed him balls.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, look, at least from our perspective, look, we have this Christian Pulisic is obviously a Chelsea player who has been, insulted by being put on the bench.
Dude, he's so good that the English is so scared playing us on November 25th in the World Cup. They've convinced Thomas Tuchel to bench him.
It's a conspiracy.
And Todd Boehly had to come in and buy the team to make sure that didn't happen. So that America could rise again.
Do you want to address these accusations for Garen Moore?
Go ahead. To you. You get the next 48 minutes to talk about
the $3 billion mistake. Just so you know, no one in England is scared of playing the USMNT.
You're losing on November 25th.
And the reason I know is because whenever I come on and do American soccer shows, all you guys want to talk about is whether me as an Englishman thinks that your American players are good.
Yeah. We don't need to hear it. Yeah. We're wondering if your players are good enough to keep up with Christian Pulisic.
So I think a lot of the kind of the response, at least definitely from Americans, is like now that Thomas Tuchel is gone, Christian Pulisic will be a starter and will get more playing time. Do you think that was the thing holding him back was just that this manager didn't believe in him?
Maybe, but I mean, Chelsea have always got a lot of good players. As they signed a lot of players in the window, and that's why the sacking of Tuchel's kind of interesting timing. We talked a lot in the UK about how Todd Boehly backed him, got these players he wanted, spent all this money, and then 59 minutes into Aubameyang, who Tuchel wanted and who had his best years under Tuchel, had played 59 minutes. They fired the manager anyway. Right. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty there, and I don't think the fact that Christian Pulisic wasn't playing as much is because the manager didn't necessarily fancy him. I think he just had loads of options and loads of other players to play. And Pulisic has been decent in the Premier League in fits and starts, right? But he's not been like standout brilliant. And so I don't know, and particularly when they signed Raheem Sterling as well, which is another big forward player that they've signed. They just had a lot of options, I think. So, I mean, it depends.
Not what we wanted to hear.
Yeah, bro. I feel like you just don't want to call Tuchel a hater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for. So we're going to edit out everything you just said.
The two options we've got with American players going into the World Cup is the managers in the Premier League have a responsibility to either A, run them into the ground so they can't play, or not play them at all so they forget the whole sport.
Right.
We've gone for B with Pulisic.
Right. I'm glad you get it, dude. It's about time you got on board.
Yeah.
Here's what I truly believe. I truly believe that there is the idea still, it's starting to go away, and we could talk about Brendan Aronson, but there is the idea that American players, by virtue of being American, aren't good enough. That's, especially for the Premier League. That's the first thing. And I think that's starting to go away, but that still exists. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening in Leeds. It started out as people are like, oh, we got this American coach. No one knows what he's doing. It started even before that when Chris Armas got hired as an assistant coach under Ralph Rangnick. And they were like, look at Ted Lasso. Which, by the way, is a Puerto Rican dude from New York. You might want to watch him mouth when you talk about
happened to Bob Bradley as well.
But I don't think he handled that well.
No, he didn't.
No, he handled that
by not being very good.
Yeah.
That was
but also being Bob Bradley. He's kind of a gruffy dude. We got credit for being the first people to make him smile or laugh during an interview.
His children haven't even been able
to. They gathered his grandkids around so they could see Grandpa smile once. But he doesn't have the Christmas spirit in him. What are you going to do? But when Christmas Armas obviously got a lot of jokes, it didn't help that the team wasn't doing well. What's his name? Jesse Marsch comes in.
Yeah.
Same thing. Ted Lasso, they got an American.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they bring in Brendan Aronson, Tyler Adams. Oh, now he's just bringing in Americans. This is what was happening, blah, blah. The team's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Off to a great start. There's a chant for Brendan Aronson that the fans have started. The idea around Jesse Marsch is starting to leave. Do you think this will help are we in that middle of the turn? Are we in the apex of the turn of where the English start to, and I'm not necessarily saying love American players, but start to respect the players and the coaching that we're developing here?
No.
No, okay, good.
Okay, good. Right to the
No, I'm
point.
joking.
No. So you're probably not actually, which is unfortunate.
It's interesting because I do completely agree with your analysis there. I totally think there is a real lazy kind of tendency to dismiss anyone in football in the Premier League with an American accent, right?
Especially if you talk about it and you're fat and you sound like me. That seems to be a big issue.
What, are they targeting certain people?
Wow, we're fat shaming and clown shaming?
And I think that Ted Lasso's a part of that because that was a popular show. But there's just been situations back in the day when football was covered here in a kind of less educated way back in the day. So around like when they got the World Cup in '94.
Still is, by the way.
Yeah, but it's much better now. It's much better now. And so people will certainly stereotype Americans present in the game. But I think Aronson, Marsh, Adams, a lot of players who essentially are going to be able to break through those stereotypes by just being good at their job is what's going to be the most effective thing to do, right? If you stand up there and Leeds win a trophy this year, it probably won't happen, but if Leeds win a trophy, or Aronson, just absolutely blitzes everyone because he's such a high energy, positive player, that's possible. People wouldn't be able to kind of deny it, and that's going to be the quickest path towards that. But I also don't think that really American Premier League fans should really care about that. I mean, there's always going to be idiots covering.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. For example, there's a gentleman named Jamal who's an Arsenal fan from London, and he just said, where is it? He's still shit. Oh, please, Mustafi had a chant. Aronson ain't special. Do you hear what we're dealing with?
Yeah. But I'm speaking to you as a British person who talks about football all the time and still gets all this stuff. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think it's because you're American. I think they'd find something else to have a go at you about if you weren't American.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say the hate or the negative comments that sometimes you'll get, and anyone on your show will get, or, for example, people on the kickoff, things like that we can see the comments, has made it a little bit easier for us because a lot of times they're specific to us being American.
Right, yeah.
But it's like if we weren't American, we'd still be they would just cut that part out of the disrespect.
Yeah.
So I think it was Rory Jennings put up a clip.
Right.
And people were like, Rory doesn't know anything about football. I'm like, this guy's been around for forever. He's clearly a big Chelsea
He
fan.
doesn't. I mean,
I'm like, if you don't think he knows anything, then it's clear you're not going to think I know anything. So why am I getting upset?
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. Yeah.
Is that part of the game for you? Like, have you've been podcasting now since what was it? 08 that you guys started? 07.
Yeah. Well, it's part of it, yeah. I mean, you
What was a podcast studio like back then? You hit record on a cassette, and you submitted that. You sent that to Apple. How did it work?
Anyone who knows me will know that I've never pressed the record button on anything in my entire life. Like earlier, when our guys were looking at your kit, I was just standing at the back thinking this is like a different language.
Yeah, your staff was looking at the kit, and you were like, "What does that play Mario Kart?"
Yeah,
I had no idea.
I do what I was thinking. It looks like a drum machine.
I think if we didn't have these technical capabilities, we wouldn't have a show at all.
We got cleverer people who do it.